Chapter 6. The next day, as soon as it was light, Lily was out the door, barefoot, heading for Margaret's house. Peeling shutters covered the windows on the bottom floor, winter shutters. She could hear the radio next door, the newscaster talking about the American army caught on the beaches in Normandy. 200,000 soldiers waiting to set Paris free. Was that all anyone thought about? News in the war? Without looking, Lily slipped a key out from under her collar. She didn't bother to pull the shoelace over her head. She leaned forward. The key fit easily into the lock, the door sliding open under her fingers, and she was inside in a moment. She wandered into the living room. It was darker than the kitchen in there, the winter shutters tighter on the windows. Still shafts of light fell across the rug and the couch and Eddie's picture on the end table. She picked up the picture, seeing Eddie smile, his buck teeth, his boots laced up tight, his cap pushed back over his frizzy hair. She thought of Poppy and how he would look in a uniform. She set the picture back in exactly the same spot. How strange it seemed without Margaret or even Mrs. Dillon sitting next to the radio listening to Portia Face's life. Lily went up the attic stairs, listening to the sound of her feet, and pushed up the window. The waves were high today. No one was on the boardwalk except for a gray gull sitting on the railing, its feathers puffed out over its skinny legs. The legs reminded her of someone, but she couldn't think of who it was. The Marielle was still at the dock, sitting low in the water. If only she'd see Poppy in line with the other fishermen. He'd be balancing the picnic basket and tackle box. He'd have his fishing rod and hers too. She felt a terrible lump in her throat. He was probably packed by now, having breakfast, ready to take the morning train back to the city, and she wouldn't be there to say goodbye. He had told her about the train last night when she had finally gone home. He sat on the edge of her bed, his weight tilting the mattress down, telling her the war would be over sometime, and they'd be right back there in Rockaway with everything just the same. She hadn't said a word. She had acted as if she didn't care, not one bit. Now she swallowed hard over the lump in her throat. She wasn't going back. She would stay in the attic all morning, all day, writing a book or something. She wished she could stay there forever. She took deep breaths of cool air that was coming in, and leaning over, she saw Albert. He was alone on the beach, wearing a pale green shirt and shorts. Holding up the shorts was a belt, a ridiculous belt, that was miles too big for him. "Ah," she said aloud. That's what the seagull reminded her of. Albert. He had those same skinny legs with fat knees. He was walking back and forth, shading his eyes with his hands, turning toward her. "Oh, no, you don't," she said under her breath. She ducked away from the window, walking doubled over to the back of the chimney. Poor Eddie's candy was gone, bag and all. Only the Milky Way wrapper was left. Over in the corner, crumpled in a ball. Lily looked closer. A piece of paper was lying on the floor. She sank down and picked it up, a note from Margaret. "Don't worry, Lily. I'm coming back. Good luck to your Aunt C in Berlin, Germany. I won't tell anyone. MD." And taped to the bottom was a lifesaver, a red one, Lily's favorite color. Lily leaned back against the rough chimney bricks, sucking on the lifesaver, wondering if Poppy's train had left. She stood up suddenly, so quickly she felt dizzy. Then she was out of the attic, clattering down the stairs, through the hall, through the kitchen, and out the door, listening for the sound of the train. She didn't stop to see whether anyone saw her. It was too late to get to the station. Instead, she ran across the field to the viaduct over the water, trying to find enough breath to get her there ahead of the train. She began to wave as soon as she heard the sound of it on the tracks, even before she saw it. She didn't stop until it was a smudge in the distance and then gone completely, even though she knew Poppy couldn't have seen her.